Like I don't want like anything.
Aw,
I don't want.
okay, this one's kind of sensy. If you could talk to the current BWP team right before tip of a game, what would you tell them?
The current BWB team.
Yeah, like us, yeah.
All of you, like a pep talk, or like
Yeah,
that's
like
what I'm
like
wondering,
right
too.
before in the locker room, right before the tip. You know how we do it?
Yeah.
We do. Like we go in, then we warm up, then we go in again.
Yeah.
That's
My favorite before a game was just to like have a game plan. So I'd review the game plan. I think advice to the team before a game would be make sure you trust each other and that you remember you're not working like just for yourself, you're working for the girls next to you. So give it all you have. Make sure you're communicating, make sure that you're putting it all on the floor.
That's a Hannah Kane pep talk for you.
Boom.
So ready to go.
But I mean, that's in addition to going over the game plan, of course. Of course.
Number 5's the shooter. Number 20 is the
Yes, exactly.
That didn't suck.
That's a good one. Wait, I have like a coined saying that. Do you know Nikki Lascaris? Or like she was on our team like when we all played together, and she like made up this saying. You know how the court is called the Auerbach, Red Auerbach?
Mm-hmm.
She made up this quote that her and I used to always say. She used to always go, "Leave it all on the Auerbach. We'll never get these hours back." And I used to just love that. So me and her would say it before every game. Yeah, we would just like dap up before a game, and she'd go, "Leave it all on the Auerbach," and I'd go, "We never get these hours back."
If you could talk to the current BWB team right now before a game, before tip off of a game, what would you tell them?
So I was captain for 2 years, and I still have not quite perfected the pregame speech. I think that I would say something to the effect of, play this game like it's your last, play every game like it's your last, because now here I am 3 years removed, and it's, I would give up a lot to be able to play again. So don't take it for granted and leave it all out there.
Definitely. And as a senior right now, like I definitely like hearing that, because now it's like somehow like I can relate to it. It just goes by so fast. It's insane.
It's and definitely being a senior is totally different. Like you think you understand what you're like, yeah, like I understand next year you're not going to be here, like it's going to be weird. But then you're a senior and you realize next year I'm not going to be here, and it's totally different. And I remember that was always a little bit of a point of contention between, the seniors and the freshmen coming in. The freshmen have their whole careers ahead of them, and the seniors are like, no, this is it for me. Mm-hmm. So trying to motivate the freshmen or not even necessarily motivate, they're usually motivated, but just trying to get them to understand what's at stake for a quarter of the team is tough, but yeah.
Definitely. And thank you. That's helpful for me, honestly. So.
All right. If you could talk to the current BW team right now before tip-off of a game, you tell them what?
Play to win, not afraid to lose. That's it.
Nice.
If you could talk to the current BWB team right before tip-off of a game, you tell them what?
Jeez, I don't know. Just win. I don't know. I'm not sure. This is a hard one. Carol will pass on this one. Okay. You guys will be fine.
If you could talk to the current BWB team right before tip-off of a game, what would you tell them?
Oh, like definitely just play as if it is like the last time you can ever play a competitive game, because obviously we know now more than ever, like the stuff can be taken away in a drop of an instant. Like, yeah, I mean, it's awful. Like you didn't know that last game was going to be your last game playing at a collegiate level. So definitely just always just leave it all in the court. I know like we say that a lot in the locker room, but absolutely just like leave it all out there, have no regrets, like don't like just keep going. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Wow, we should have you in the locker room before games. Give us a little pep talk.
Have a little pep talk.
Supplement Carol's little, like, pregame talks.
The next question is, if you could talk to the current BWB team right before tip-off of a game, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that you got this. You know that you are capable. Just believe in yourself. You can do whatever it is that you're trying to do out there. Just have the confidence and enjoy it. Roll with the punches.
If you could talk to the current BWB team right before tip-off, what would you tell them, like before a game?
Oh my gosh. I would say, I'm sure your coach does it best. Give it your all, rise to the occasion, be the best you can be. And it's a game, and have fun out there. It's all about fun. And that's what's great about Brandeis and Division III. It's not your whole life. I mean, you're not isolated from, I look at, my daughter's husband went to UF, and I've known people that have gone there, and they're isolated, they're separated, they can only live with athletes, and their whole day is controlled. I mean, you still have to be a kid. You have to enjoy life and enjoy being a student. Yeah. And I think you get the best of that with being an athlete that you can play and have fun. I mean, let's face it, we do it because it's fun. Yeah. I miss being able to play, not that I could ever play today, I'm too old, but I mean, I just love the competition. I mean, I still play, I play golf, and I do things that are competitive because I love that competitive spirit. And I remember when I was coaching, sometimes in New Jersey, it was in New Jersey, I was coaching a girls cross country team. And these girls would say to me, and you might be able to identify with this, they'd say, "Oh, Mrs. D, I can't come to practice today. I have to go home and babysit." I would like, "What? Babysit?" Can you imagine a football player saying, "Coach, I have to go home and babysit"? I mean, I used to get so upset because they wouldn't come to practice because, they didn't feel well, or they had something else to do. You had to have a dedication to the sport. And that, I think, was lacking with some of the girls in the early days. I don't know. You would know today. People must be dedicated.
Yeah, it's
to
all
their
about
sport.
balance. Because
I'm sorry?
It's all about balance. Like, on the one hand, we all are like super invested and dedicated to the sport, and we put basketball first, but at the same time, like you said, like, we're students and we have friends,
exams,
other commitments, and we're involved in things on campus. And that is the beauty of being at Brandeis and playing at the Division III level and playing in the UAA, is that you get that high level and you get that dedication of like to the sport, but at the same time you're allowed to have other things, and so it's just finding that balance.
Exactly. And that's what you need. And I think in the early days when I was coaching, the commitment wasn't there with girls. But it's there today. I see a big change. And I always made my daughter, when she was playing sports, you go to practice, unless you're really sick or whatever. And she had that sense of dedication. You have to today. Well, that's great. Oh, unbelievable. No, you girls have come a long way. I was so blown away when I saw those seniors at that meeting. I hadn't been on the campus for 20 plus years, really. It'd been a long time. And I was really impressed. So.
Has campus itself changed?
Oh my gosh, yes. Unbelievable. I mean, I was there when the old Chumley's, the old castle, was there. And I used to be in North Quad.
I lived there for a year.
Did you really? I mean, those were nice dorms,
Yeah, they've been redone.
And then I was at East, when I had my last couple of years, I was at East because that was close to the gym way back when. Plus you have a new fabulous gym. Yeah. So, I mean, the school is amazing now. It's really come a long way. What's the undergraduate number today? Is it still around 3,000?
Yeah, I think it's around 3,500.
Okay. Because it was about 2,000 when I was there.
Okay.
And 1,000 graduate students. So, I mean, we had 500 people in my freshman class, which is not a lot, when you think about it.
I think we have about 800.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's good to be in a small school because you do meet and you do know a lot of people. So,
Yeah, for sure.
okay.
If you could talk to the current BWB team right now before the tip-off game, which we won't have, but before the tip-off game, what would you tell them?
Okay, I was never the hype girl, to be real. I was never the hype girl. Like pregame speeches aren't really my thing. Like I'm a high five or like get through that, like all that. Like, but I'm not like the hype girl. What would I say though?
You do a high five?
I would give like a high five, a little like arm bar or something. But what would I don't know. I would say just to make sure you know the scouting reporting to not mess up. You know, like you practice, you know what you need to do. Just go out and do it. I don't know.
No, it's not
And
bad.
enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Like that's just enjoy it.
Yeah. Heard it goes by fast.
It does. It does.
If you could talk to a current BWB team before tip-off of a game, you tell them what?
I'd say obviously leave everything on the court, not to be cliche, but even if you make a mistake and you know you're about to be on the bench next to Carol, go sprint your butt off for the next play, see what you can do. Make the most of every opportunity. You never know when your Chicago moment or your time to shine is going to be. But probably most importantly, if you lose, it'll cost you 17 at practice tomorrow.
Do you run those every time you lose? Oh no.
If you could talk to the current BWB team right before tip-off of a game, what would you tell them?
Angie, what would you say? Come on.
I would just say just have fun.
That's a good
I
one.
don't know. Like I would just say go have fun. We weren't really big on like pep talks. We weren't really big on pep talks. It was like either you played or you didn't. Like I don't know. Like we weren't really like a big pep talk team.
Okay. We're like the opposite.
We would say, like, I always, my whole thing in every game would be like, we're
Really?
fine. I would always say we're fine. Like, we're fine. It's not a big deal. Like, we're fine. And then we would win.
And you guys.
No, like Nick will legit come on during half time and be like, it's fine. It's on day 22. It's fine. Like we're coming. It's fine.
I'm like, it's fine.
And
Yeah.
we would always
That's
come
what
back
I would
though.
say,
Now
actually.
we win. It's gonna,
That's all I would say.
you know, it's but we would always.
I know it's hard. It's hard to take your mind. It's hard to go back there when you're so removed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So if you could talk to the current BWB team right now before a tip-off game, what would you tell them?
I think it's the same thing, and I don't know if you guys still say it when you come together, but together. And as we say here, which is politically correct, LFG. So, you know, let's effing go. And, you know, this is what we've worked for. This is what we put the hours, the time in practice. And this is what we should, you know, enjoy doing at this point. So let's go out there and do it together.
Yeah. Well said.
If you could talk to a current BWB team right before tip-off of a game, what would you tell them?
This one was hard. I didn't really have an answer for this one. Because I think some of the things I would say may or may not would probably have to be edited out. So I'll probably just pass on this one.
Well, you could tell me and Carol could edit it out later.
I mean, there probably would be a lot of swears. Not a lot, but just a couple. And I don't know. It's tough because that's something you got to feel. I would like want to feel it in the moment, especially with like the game. It depends on who you're playing.
Yeah.
But just overall, like work as hard as you can and just communicate as much as you can. Don't ever give up on each other, no matter what. Even if you're losing by 40 points, never ever turn on each other.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Just do your best and remember you're representing the school.
Yeah.
And be together, play together, because a team, there's no I in team. You know that old story.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. If you could talk to the current BWB team right now before tip-off of a game,
if only we had a season. What would you tell them?
Oh gosh. Before tip off of a game, you have nothing to lose. Put it all on the floor, right? I mean, this is it. You're in the moment, and what's holding you back? Nothing.
Yeah, I like it.